Yeah, as we've been talking about, we've really gone through 3 weeks here really playing well. And we're going to have to play really well on this road trip. Everybody wants to talk about Arizona, obviously, but Arizona State's playing extremely well. Beat Arizona at Arizona State. So, they're just a difficult team. Both these teams will be physical. Both these teams are really good at driving the basketball, and I think that's our biggest concern with Arizona State is that they put a lot of pressure on your defense because of the way they go at you off the bounce. A little bit of Oregon to them offensively, in that they don't have a lot of size. They're just really athletic. Jacobson gives them something different that I think Oregon doesn't have, and that's that legit center that's in there. But a lot of the similar offense of how you're going to have to guard the transition and the dribble drive game. So I think that's a key. And then anytime you go on the road, having a low turnover game and making some shots. You got to make some shots when you're away from home. And, consistently we haven't been able to do that. And that's what we're going to have to do on this trip.
Is different the slate in conference play going against teams that you haven't seen yet?
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday in a staff meeting that, here you are past Valentine's. You're in the third week of February, and we're getting ready to play four teams. Our next four games are against teams we haven't seen yet. So that's unusual. It didn't happen. I don't think that happened to us last year's schedule. So it's just odd that it falls that way. That the four teams that we're in buys with are happening right at the end of the season. So it does make for a strange calendar of events that way. But it's the way it hits, and you got to play them. And we're going to get three games at home, and we got our last two road games to try to continue to build on this momentum, and that's what we're trying to do.
With one and done such a big part of college basketball now, how much of a difference does it make to have a guy like Norman who, maybe has that level of talent but still stayed 4 years because of opportunity?
Yeah, and what we really appreciate about Norman is not just being a 4-year guy, because everybody's different. It's not taking anything away from guys that are one and done or two and done or leave after three. Or Norman, I think, is a 4-year guy, and you've seen him evolve as a basketball player. You've seen him mature as a basketball player. And now, most of the mock drafts have him going in the first round, which is tremendous. At the end of last year, he was kind of on the bubble of a second round pick when we did a lot of the investigation stuff after the season. And, and probably the 2 years before that, he wasn't on any board. So that's what you want in college basketball. You want to see guys come in one way and they go out totally different. You want them to improve as a person. You want them to improve and mature as a basketball player. And Norman's done that. I've only had him for 2 years, but he would be able to tell you how many times I've told him what a joy it is to see how he's matured. Last year, if you jump on him or if he'd have a bad play or bad stretch of play, you'd see facial expressions and he'd get down on himself. He hasn't done that this year. He's been a great leader. He's been very positive, not just to his teammates, but he's been positive on himself because he's always been really hard on himself. And because of that, I think it's freeing him up to do the things that we're seeing him do at both ends of the floor. So we only wish the best for guys like Norman because he's put in the time, he's put in the effort. That's why we're fighting like crazy for him as a staff and as a team down the stretch here to extend his season as long as you can and continue to get him on a stage where people get to see him because I think he's a very special player and he's developed very nicely.
When you met with him after last season, was there any eagerness for him to kind of jump to that next level, or is that something you had to talk to him a lot about?
No, with Norman, and every guy's different, but with Norman it was just inquiring. He wanted to know kind of what's out there. What are people saying about me? What's the next level saying? And unfortunately, when you turn that stuff in and it's a panel of about 18 people, you only get back what they voted. And in other words, that you get lottery, mid first round, late first round, early second, mid second, not drafted at all. You don't get what Norman really wanted to hear is what do I need to do? What is it that I need to work on? So we've talked to obviously a lot of scouts, and we did that for him last spring going into this season. So because he's a sponge, he wants to know how to get better. And again, it's a tribute to him, and I think he's gotten better. You've seen his shooting percentages go up. He's getting to the free throw line more this year. He's doing what we expected him to do. I think still, in my mind, he's one of the best drivers in the game that we have, and he's doing that a lot here at a high level for us right now.
How do you think he projects to the next level?
I think he's one of those guards that is a big athletic guard, and when I say big, it's more physical strength, guard that can really defend. And I think that's going to be his niche at the next level. You know, some guys you go into the league and you're going to be a power forward and be a block-to-block guy. Other guys are going to be pick-and-pop guys like Travis. Travis is somebody that you projected him being a guy that could really run the floor, and you could really use him in pick-and-pop situations because of the way he can shoot it. With Norman, I think his shooting has improved to the point where now you got to guard him, but I think his big niche is he's got a chance to be a lockdown defender with his size and strength, and then really help you offensively because his ball handling's improved. Just in 2 years, his ball handling has really improved. And when we talk about ball handling, it's not just about dribble drive. It's about can you set up in an offense and come off pick and rolls. I mean, now you see how comfortable he is. Now he comes off pick and rolls and goes backwards between his legs to get to the basket. I've never seen a split like that. So he's gotten really comfortable with things. But I think his niche will be one of those big physical guards that you can put into the game and defend.
Have you seen the curtain of distraction at Arizona State at all?
Just briefly, you know, I saw it briefly maybe like 2 weeks ago on I think watching game film. We were watching Arizona State probably play one of the teams we're getting ready to play, and we saw it being advertised, but I don't know a whole lot about it other than it seems to be getting a lot of attention.
Stuff like that, does that actually work when you're at the free throw line? Do you see any of that?
Well, you probably see it, and I remember as a player, those are things you just block out. You know, and that's why you can't shoot the ball, you know, as a free throw shooter. If you shoot it one way at home and you shoot it one way on the road, then those things are bothering you, obviously. So when you become a pure foul shooter, those things don't bother you. It doesn't matter where you're playing the game, whether, you know, now we play those early games, we play them on aircraft carriers, we play them in, you know, the tournament we played in the Bahamas is like in a big ballroom. So there's a lot of different atmospheres you play in. Some have, you know, domes have no background to it, and domes are really hard. I think as a shooter, domes were the hardest thing for me to. You wanted more shots in a shoot around because you just don't have depth perception. So you're not really looking this way anyway. You're focusing on the rim, and it's the backdrop of the rim that, as a shooter, you're really focusing in. But when you hear the laughter and you hear, you know, obviously that's something that got to come into your mind. But that's part of mental toughness, of being able to shut that stuff off and be able to concentrate on just making a shot.
What's been the key to you guys getting to the line more often than these last
You know, I think we're driving it harder. I do think we're if you look at our pick and roll offense over the last 2 weeks, we're attacking more, where I think 2 weeks ago we came off of it a little soft. We got some young guards, and so they're figuring out, watching a lot of tape. You know, we break down a lot of tape for them, from watching Steve Nash to Tony Parker to Westbrook to you name it. They spend a lot of time watching tape on how the best of the best do it. It's the same way with contesting shots. You know, we gave them a stat the other day that at the ultimate level, the NBA level, uncontested shots get made at about 60%. Highly contested shots get made at about 20%. And 3 weeks ago, we weren't very good at contesting shots. Now, all of a sudden, our guys are learning to contest shots without fouling, and teams aren't shooting the ball as well. And it's the same way with getting to the free throw line. It's not just ball screening. I think the other reason is our guys are doing a much better job of getting the ball inside, and the posts are developing nicely to where we can throw it to them inside. And Tony's making free throws, you know, so instead of missing the front end of a bonus, he's getting 2 shots now instead of 1. So free throw shots are going to go up because he does get fouled a lot.
With contesting shots, what's been the change there? How have they learned to contest it better?
Well, I think one, stats. We showing them a lot of tape on it. You know, we've been showing them tape on, you know, playoff basketball right now of how things get contested so hard. And I thought that was, after watching a lot of game film on us as a staff, we felt like contesting shots was something we just didn't do very well. We'd stop on plays. A lot of young guys do that. You know, you close out once and you get into scramble mode, and now you're wide open and I'm 6 feet away, so I just stand there and let you shoot it because I don't think I can do anything, instead of flying at you and at least getting the hand up. And our guys have learned to do that, and now they're seeing it. You know, it's one thing to see it in film and you have coaches talk to you about it, but then when you see results to where, oh, I flew at you and you missed it, then you see results, then it's like, oh, I got to keep doing that. So I think the guys have done a good job of just trying it and learning it, and now they're seeing some results, so they're doing a much better job at it.
How big of a part has Tony played in that, just not fouling as much under the
Well, and he's crucial. You know, having him in there is crucial because now we get in a normal rotation with him and Tom. You know, Tom's been tremendous when Tony's been in foul trouble, but having Tony's experience is big. And it doesn't mean you always miss. You know, that's why I kept saying at Cal, I thought Kevon challenged the last shot that they made in the corner as well as you could challenge a shot. It just happened to go in. So it doesn't always work, but challenging shots has a lot to do with it. But I think in Tony's regard, he's working defensively more early in the possession. And what I mean by that, he's not waiting on the offensive player to get position. He's starting to guard before that. And we always talk about you can't be reactionary defensively. You got to anticipate. And he's anticipating much better than what he was a month ago.
Cool.
Good.
Isaac, how much more have you guys, as guards, tried to be aggressive in getting to the free throw line and driving over the other one?
Real aggressive. Coach just said, just be as aggressive as you can, be the first one in the bonus, so we can get the one-on-one. And, that's what we try to do each and every game, each and every half. So, and make plays. Of course, as guards, we have to do that things. So, that's what we try to do.
It seems like you kind of flip-flop between having a pretty good shooting night and a pretty off shooting night. Is it just a matter of kind of getting in your rhythm early in the game that really helps you?
Yeah, just getting, first couple of shots to see them go in, and just taking good shots, better shots. So, with that, I still have to work on that. But other than that, I'm still confident. I still feel like I can make them all. So I'm just to continue to shoot them.
What are you seeing out there on the floor offensively? The last 2 games we've had 8 and 7 assists against one.
Yeah, like Coach said, he told me before, like he said, be aggressive with the ball. Not try to leave my feet as I make plays and passes, and just continue to find an open guy. And that's what I was trying to do.
Would you say that you and Bryce are sharing point guard duties a little bit more than you were, say, at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, and I'm starting to feel way more comfortable too. So, he's starting to, rely on me too as well to make plays.
Thanks, Isaac.
All right, no problem.
Thank you.
Did you see Zach in the dunk contest?
Yeah, I did. I had a chance to see that. I already knew he was going to win it. All those dunks he did, I saw him do here before he left. So I already knew that he was going to be a shoo-in for the dunk contest.
Was there anything he didn't do that you were expecting to see?
Not really. It's crazy. His dunks are always crazy. It's always shocking to see somebody do that. I've never seen any of those dunks done before. But, he has a lot of balance, so I wasn't counting him out.
Did you tell him to wait for you to get there next year so he has some real competition?
Nah, not really. But we always had a little contest here and there when he was here last year, and it's just a lot of fun to see what he's doing on that stage. Hopefully, when I do get there, it'll be a little fun. We can go at it again.
Who would win?
It'll be a good one. And we'll have to see.
Did you watch your dunk on SportsCenter?
Yeah, everybody was sending me links and telling me to watch SportsCenter. Got a chance to show my mom, and she was really proud and happy about it. But yeah, it was crazy that it was number 1. I thought I just made a great move, but I didn't know it was going to blow up the way it did.
How much better have you guys gotten at getting to the free throw line and taking those easy points than you were maybe a few weeks ago?
I think we really improved. It started here in practice, just picking up our defense and our intensity and just our mindset. Getting to the free throw line and being aggressive, a mindset that you have throughout the whole game. And I think the team has really picked up and focused on getting to the basket and creating easy looks and opportunities for us. And we know that winning games are won and lost by the free throw line, and being able to get there as many times and convert at the free throw is really key to what we want to do.
How much do you notice it affects opposing defenses when you're getting 20 free throws a game like you have been these last weeks?
It's really effective because it stops clock, and it allows us to set up our defense and be able to get out in transition and things like that. So if you're able to get to the free throw line more times than your opponent, it gives you a higher chance of winning. So I think this team is really focused on just attacking the rim, and I'm looking to finish through people and not avoid contact is really big for the game of basketball in general.
Defensively, why have you guys been able to contest shots better in the last week?
Honestly, it's just our effort. Coaches always talk to us about how we were playing basketball in the beginning of the season, how we were just watching people shoot the ball, and I think that's really helped us in their shooting percentage. They're always lower. I know Coach talked about highly contested and open shots at the higher level being 63% and highly contested at like 23, 22%, something like that. But that really affects, at Oregon, we weren't contesting shots, and they were like 9 for 11 for the game for threes. So that really is really key to our defense. You know, we're able to contest shots, make them take highly contested, and be able to come off with long rebounds and get out in transition faster and get a flow to our offense. So I think just our overall defense has picked up and taking away the easy looks for other teams.
Coach was talking about making sure guys realize that you can contest a shot even if it seems like somebody's wide open.
Yeah.
Did that Oregon trip kind of make that sink in? Because it seemed like after that there was a change.
Yeah, definitely. Coach really broke down film after that trip and showed us where our effort was really lacking, and I think the team took it upon themselves to start that in practice. You know, the level of intensity and our defense really picked up there, competing and contesting everybody and making them work for better looks, making them work around the ball on offense. And you can see that not only in our defense, but our offense is getting better. We're moving the ball, we're getting good shots, we're not in a rush or we're not in a panic when the shot clock is going down or the team's going on a run. We're able to move the ball, work around, and get good shots, you know, and that just happens in practice, and I think it's really carrying over to the games and how we're playing defense, how we're finishing off with a rebound and contesting shots that, you know, would probably be open, but making it hard and making them think twice and hesitate on their shots.
How have you seen Tony's game develop this year from last year?
He's being more aggressive, you know. I know he's done a lot of work in the offseason and still after practice getting in conditioning and extra post moves and free throws, and you see an improvement. His energy, his motor is really high, and he's able to move around, get his post moves off, getting good shots, and that's what we need. And we need him to keep doing those things, rebounding the way he is. But I think it's all a mentality for him. He's being more aggressive, and he's getting the looks that he needs. And for him to continue, if he does continue that, the sky's the limit for this team because he's a big inside presence for us.
Especially with you, this being your last year, how much does this trip and the rest of the games here and out feel kind of like playoff games?
Coach has always talked about, like, it's great that the season the way it is right now because we get March Madness now. You know, all these games that we have are really a big factor for what we want to do in postseason play and setting us up for the Pac-12 tournament and seeding for the NCAA tournament. So I think not only for me but the team as well has really taken it upon themselves to pick up their level of play and play like every game is their last. You know, like this is the last time you're going to be able to play basketball, and you can really see the urgency in the whole team. And that's what we need to have in this road trip because we need some good road wins and to set up our schedule for Pac-12 tournament.
Good, how are you?
Congratulations on being part of the Carmelo look. How does that feel?
It's a great honor. Carmelo's a great player. The award is a big time honor for me. Just keep on playing, hopefully I can win it.
Did you ever, in your wildest imagination, back in the spit yards of Milwaukee, think you'd be at this spot?
No, I really didn't. I was just to play basketball, and I kept working hard, and good things have been paying off for me. I'm continuing to work, and hopefully things can get better.
In your opinion, what's been the biggest issue on the road that you can kind of tie together all the trips you guys have taken?
You know, on the road, it's not you can't make mistakes. In the games, we've been things like free throws, turnovers, and getting loose balls. All them things matter. And on the road, that's been kind of tough for us. I think we did better on our last road trip, and hopefully it can continue to get better.
What kinds of scenarios and things do you discuss when you're talking about the Pac-12 tournament seeding, Pac-12 standings, NCAA tournament, stuff like that?
Coach laid it out for us. He told us what we need to do, set our mission, our goals, talk about how every game is important for us. We can't have no slip-ups. We can every game really matters for us. So we're taking every game serious, preparing really good for the next game and for everybody.
Obviously, the season's coming out of this final stretch. Are you finding yourself having to avoid, questions or people wondering about the NBA or what's next for you?
No, I really haven't even thought about it. I haven't talked to my parents yet about it. They were just here. They got to watch me play. I just really enjoyed their time. We really didn't talk about it. So I haven't really thought about it. Just thinking about the games and winning and making the Pac-12 tournament, making the NCAA tournament.
How often have your parents come out to see you?
They made the trip to the Bahamas, and this is their first time coming into LA to watch me play. So it was got the 2 wins for them, and they had a great time.
Thanks so much.